So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped onto Twitter's. And I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy. And I saw a live. And I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back is basically what you were saying. That's what you thought. It's still going right now, and I'm not going to post a link to it because I don't want to give these people a voice. But they think they're in a safe space on Twitter. They're not.
So them farmers really thought we was coming to get in them fields? Is that what I'm reading? Y'all really thought we was coming to get in those fields? It's funny when black people say stuff like over a year ago when we said that Donald Trump specifically saying that immigrants were coming over here to steal black jobs meant that him deporting them was supposed to open the door for us to get back in the fields. Of course, immediately, most people said, y'all are reaching. Now here we are. They are literally on Twitter, all over social media, complaining about the fact that we did not come into those fields. I get the unemployment rate is rising rapidly in the black community. I believe for us, it's about 7% compared to about 4.5% for just about any other demographic. But that also means that 93% of us have jobs. 93% of us are working. And 93% of us were never coming out into those fields to pick your stupid crops. Y'all are supposed to be the pick them up by their bootstraps people, right? Y'all are always the ones talking about earn this, that, hard work, this, that. But then y'all never want to do your own damn work. Y'all brought us over here, all right? We spent hundreds of years doing that stuff for free. We spent another 100 years after that with Jim Crow rights. We fought, bled, died, protested, did everything we possibly could to gain the rights that we have now. We live in this country, we work, we own businesses. We are not going back to your fields. Can y'all just let that shit go? Can y'all let it go? It ain't gonna happen. And there's nothing you're gonna do to make it happen. You don't got the numbers, you don't have the manpower. We're not going back. The experiment failed, okay? And now guess what's happening? Food is rotting in the ground because y'all really thought we was coming back out.
You're not going to believe this. I saw that someone on Twitter were saying, the white farmers on Twitter were saying that when they had all these mass deportations, that they just automatically thought that they were going to send the black people to work their farms. The black farmers who had already lost their farms and just, other black people because they needed the help and they wanted the government to send them, I guess, criminals so they can work on their farms, so they can keep their farms. Because, me keeping my farm and not caring about you and giving you low wages, that's just the American dream, right? Stop it. Y'all need to stop this. This is just totally ridiculous. Little Johnny, little Susie, all the ones that you're paying all this money because you've gotten all this government money for free. You need to go get them out of college, which is what they used to do in the olden days. Get them out of college, get them out of their little jobs, and get them working that farm on the weekend. There you go.
As a black farmer, it is hilarious when I hear white farmers complain about how they're losing their government subsidies and how they can't support their farms. My farm is closing down. Y'all acting just like a hoe acts like when their sugar daddy moves away, You start crying because he don't leave that light bill money on the freaking nightstand he used to, huh? No, stop crying. Stop bitching. Your people have had centuries of a head start on black farmers. And yet, for some reason, every other video that I see on damn Farm Talk, you know, the farm side of freaking TikTok, I'm seeing white farmers bitching, whining, and complaining. Excuse me, my people couldn't even read at one point. So why in the hell am I doing less bitching than you? You've been given everything. Imagine being so privileged that you're sitting on stolen land crying, "Daddy government, come save me. I can't afford to pay for my stolen land." Damn!
The level of determination that has been dedicated to try to ensure that Black Americans do not thrive is not by accident. And that is the reason why Black farmers are being shut out again. While the Trump administration rolls out financial lifelines for white farmers, Black farmers are being left out, overlooked, and pushed closer to extinction. And if it weren't for people like John Boyd Jr. sounding the alarm, this story would stay buried in the soil. Let's talk about history. Black farmers once owned 14% of United States farmland. Today, less than 1.3%. How, Sway? I'll tell you. Generational land theft, discriminatory USDA policies, and a long history of being denied access to the very tools white farmers receive as default. And now, in 2025, the Trump administration is doubling down, offering federal farm credits, subsidies, and contracts almost exclusively to white farmers. And they're doing it in broad daylight. John Boyd Jr. has entered the chat.
My name is John Boyd, founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association.
John Boyd Jr., a fourth-generation American farmer, is out here telling the truth.
You need to rise up and speak out now, not later, because if we don't, they're going to continue to take this country down a pathway that is going to take decades to get away from.
He says it clearly. It's not that we don't want to farm, it's that the system doesn't want us to succeed. Let's be clear. This is not about charity. This is about fairness, about access, about survival. The federal numbers don't lie. In 2021, the Trump administration handed out $26 billion in pandemic farm relief. Black farmers received 0.01% of this relief fund. And in 2025, with new rounds of credits going out, the same pattern is repeating. White farmers are getting bailed out. Black farmers are getting boxed out.
I'm looking for $5 billion in debt relief, and I'm asking the Federal Court of Appeals to reverse the decision and grant 17,000 Black and other farmers of color 120% debt relief.
The stakes are higher than food. This isn't just about crop yields or subsidies. This is about land, food justice, generational wealth, and the right to live and work with dignity. Black farmers aren't asking for special treatment. They're asking for equal footing. We can't keep letting politicians toss our people aside while offering refuge and resources to others, not because they're in greater danger, but because they fit a preferred political narrative. If we care about sustainability, food security, or economic justice, we cannot leave Black farmers out of the conversation. Their legacy is American history. Their land is American land, and their fight deserves our full support.
I don't care what they say. I'm not going to stop fighting, and you should not stop fighting in this country.
Peace.
Have you heard what's going on in Florida? Some people in this country are so damn sick. They want slavery back, so they went after the Black immigrants. So this man, he was rolling down the street with his woman, and he saw a field of Black folks, and he was like, "Wait a minute, this don't look right." And there was two trucks in the field at a distance. I don't know. We assume that they were watching the workers or slaves. I don't know what's going on. But when they noticed him talking to the workers in the field, they slowly creeped off, trying to hide their face. And the demeanor of the body language and the demeanor of the woman he was speaking to, you would think that she was back in the 1800s. You don't want the master, the overseer, to see us not working and doing our job. Just watch the whole thing. My thing is, immigrant Black folks, you guys had so much to say against us. Are you quiet now? What are you guys doing about this? Check this out.
Excuse me, what are y'all picking? What the fuck is this going on? They won't talk to you or nothing. Now they leaving. This white man, all of a sudden, he's trying to get out of here. Why is he leaving them? And he trying to hide his face. Who's this white dude? What is this y'all picking? Y'all don't speak English? What the fuck is this going? Hi. How you doing?
Okay.
All right. Are y'all okay out here? Sure. Y'all good? Okay.
Now pay close attention to how this older woman looks around. It's not a look around like, oh, it's a gorgeous day today. It's a look around like, I ain't supposed to be talking to you. Now, if she was a native Black American, first of all, that wouldn't happen. But if she was a native Black American, that field wouldn't exist anymore. Trust. Check this out. Now tell me that wasn't a look like I'm being watched.
How long have y'all been working out here? Okay, thank you.
Now tell me that wasn't a Roots Kutikinte shush away. She shushed him away like, don't get me in trouble, sir.
So you want to deport everyone, huh? In 2011, North Carolina needed 6,500 farm workers. Only 268 legal Americans applied. 245 were hired, but only 163 showed up to the first day. Worse, only 7 lasted till the end of the growing season. Migrant workers aren't taking your jobs. They're doing the jobs you would never do. And while they're doing that, they're paying taxes into Social Security, which they will never get back. And you want to deport them all. Have fun working on the farm.
Imagine supporting a political movement built around tougher immigration enforcement, and then suddenly realizing that the people you expected to fill the workforce are not there. Now, the conversation is now getting more unusual, my people. You know, some political commentators are asking some provocative questions that what if the Black community is not the group being pushed out, but the community being asked to step forward? And you know, for the MAGA supporters, that creates a very uncomfortable contradiction, because America needs workers, America needs farmers, America needs people who are willing to keep essential industries running. And that brings us to today's story. One of the biggest promises associated with MAGA politics has been stronger immigration enforcement and the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. Supporters argue that stricter enforcement protects American jobs, it protects wages, and it protects the national security. But agriculture presents a complicated problem, because farmers need people to plant, farmers need people to harvest, farmers need people to do the processing job and care for the crops and livestock. And when labor becomes difficult to find, farms now face serious financial pressure. And this is where the conversation now becomes very interesting, because Black Americans have a long history of farming work. And after emancipation, millions of formerly enslaved people remained connected with farming. Many became tenants farmers, many became sharecroppers, some became landowners, and others became farmers. And today, Black Americans work across virtually every sector of the economy. So the idea that Black Americans can simply be called upon to replace the immigrants' farming labor is far more complicated than it sounds. Now, here's where the political irony comes in. If a country reduces its immigrant workforce while still demanding cheap food and a strong farming production, somebody has to fill in the gap. Because farmers may look toward domestic workers, but domestic workers have choices today. They may prefer construction, they may prefer healthcare, they may prefer technology, they may prefer transportation, they may prefer education, government, retail, or even thousands of other careers that are available. You cannot simply assume that people will abandon their current professions and move into physically demanding farming work. You have to all know that Black Americans are the American citizens. They are not subjected to deportation simply because of their race, or because of the group where they are coming from, or because of the color of their skin. So if the argument is that immigration restrictions could create new economic opportunities for the Black Americans, I think that is a completely different question. and it deserves serious discussion. And the question that many are asking, why aren't black Americans replacing immigrant workers, is not right. I think they should ask, why have some essential jobs become so dependent on immigrant labor in the first place? And should wages be increased? And should working conditions be improved? And should the immigration program be reformed? And should farmers or farms invest more heavily in automation than human labor? And should the government provide stronger pathways for the legal farming workers? I think these are real questions that America should, or farmers should ask themselves. This irony is impossible to ignore. A political movement may demand fewer immigrant workers, farmers may desperately need labor, and America may suddenly discover that there is no simple replacement workforce waiting in the wings. Black Americans don't owe anyone a labor force because they are citizens with their own careers, with their own ambitions, with their own families, and with their own choices of work. And if American farmers need more workers, the solution has to involve some fair wages, better condition, smart immigration policy, technology, and even genuine economic opportunity. Because at the end of the day, America can't build its future by just telling one group to leave while simply expecting that another group will fill in the empty gaps. That is not a workforce strategy. That is a contradiction altogether. Guys, what do you think? Should American farmers focus on higher wages and better working conditions to attract domestic workers, or should the country reform its legal farming work programs?